is the federal government. But the others will tell you, hey, I'm in a business, I'm answerable to shareholders. If you're not able to demonstrate that I can have the kind of return I have elsewhere, my money will go somewhere else. So there are many things that they will look at. They will look at the reliability of our gas supply. They look at our contracting environment. They look at our respect for the rule of law. All of those coming to helping them to say we have a climate that is investable. And that explains why the federal government has been working very hard to make sure that there is continuous gas supply, all those things that are happening to our pipeline, because they are affecting us. They're also affecting our reputation. No serious investor will see all of that and say, I want to go and put my money there. Just let me digress a bit. The oil that we produce in Nigeria today is one of the cheapest to produce worldwide. Why? Because they flow most of it under normal reservoir pressure. You don't need to do anything else. But you go to many other countries, you install submersible pumps, you generate your power just to be able to make that oil to flow. So ideally, we should be killing in terms of profits that we're making. But many are still reluctant to come in because of all of these non-technical issues that makes the investment climate challenging. So what we are doing is to be able to demonstrate that those fundamentals are in place, number one. But number two, that in terms of the efficiency of our operation, that we earn the right to grow. What do I mean by that? If you look at what it takes in terms of my unit operating cost to produce per MMBTU, and those investors benchmark it with every other place, they should be able to come to the conclusion I'm getting better return from NLNG. So it means I take cost out, unnecessary cost. I can't afford just to be flippant about the cost that at which we run the business. We don't have control over how much we sell our product because it's not differentiated. We get to the market, everybody is buying LNG is the same price, what the market dictates, but we have control on the cost. We have control on our efficiency, we have control on our discipline, and we have that role to do that. So it's all of that coming together that allows the shareholders to say you have earned your right to grow, the climate is okay, and you will grow. So we are working on demonstrating all of that, that there is line of sight to the gas, that if we build a plant, invest in building a plant, there is gas that will come into that plant. That gas will be supplied in a very reliable way, and you can be sure that there is a market for it where it's going to be sold. No brainer. And those are the things that we're working to. So I think one of the questions is, when would this happen? It's not also something that happens quickly, but the most important thing is that we have started that conversation. We've actually appointed people within the company that are 100% looking at that right now, and they are working that through. You need to talk about again the LPG, that the price went up. If 100% of LPG that we produce in Nigeria today comes from our plant, we would have been able to shield from that price increase. But like I mentioned, we only produce about 33%. That's 100% of what we produce. We move from producing 100% to 33%. 100% when we're just doing 70,000 tons. We're now doing 500,000 tons, which in itself is good because it means that the country is using more of the gas for its own consumption and in order to power its industry. But the gas source that we have continues to get leaner and leaner. And so the quantity of cooking gas we can extract from it is getting smaller and smaller. And part of what we are now looking forward to is when Train 7 comes on with the additional gas sources that allows us to increase our production by about 50%. And we're looking forward to that. I know that the Honorable Minister of Gas is troubled about it. The presidency is troubled about what went on at that time, that price went up. NNPC and MDPRA, there were several meetings that were called in order to understand what's broken. Is it in the distribution? Is it in the transportation? Is it because we have shortages and could we bring more of the cooking gas in? And they responded. That price actually went as high as 2,400 naira per kg. Right now, it's come down significantly lower, and I know they are putting mechanism in place to ensure that that doesn't happen again. So, what will we do to mitigate it? I think it's also to just make supply available much more. Part of what drove that price up is a supply issue. Was a supply issue. There was about 400,000 ton per day that was deficit. As aggregated, we had about 2.1. Demand was about 2.4, 2.5. It was that shortage, and part of what is now being done is to ensure that we don't find ourselves in a situation where we have shortage of supply in the market. That's what drives the price up. If I move on to Mr. Adiola,